Hello, YouTube friends. Today's going to be a bit of a different video. So I'm going to be diving into the world of audiobooks. So I have a book here, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Roger Rules, and I will be reading it to the class. Crash, smash, badum, biddy bop, thump womp. Roderick Rules. Okay, so put on some ambient photos like puppies, kittens, the jungle, different wildlife, and sit back and relax. September 11th, Monday. Wait. I guess Mom was pretty proud of herself for making me write in that journal last year, because now she went and bought me another one. But remember how I said that if some jerk caught me carrying a book with diary on the cover, they were going to get the wrong idea? Well, that's exactly what happened today. And it was his brother Roderick who called him a sissy and punched him. Now that Roderick knows I have another journal, I better remember to keep this one locked up. Roderick actually got a hold of my last journal a few weeks back, and it was a disaster. But don't even get me started on that story. Even without my Roderick problems, my summer was pretty lousy. Our family didn't go anywhere or do anything fun, and that's Dad's fault. Dad made me join the swim team again, and he wanted to make sure I didn't miss any meets this year. Kill him, Brandon. No mercy, Todd. Stop shivering, Greg. And Greg is shivering. Dad's got the wrong idea that I'm destined to be a great swimmer or something. So that's why he makes me join the team every summer. At my first swim meet a couple years ago, Dad told me when the umpire shot off the starter pistol, I was supposed to dive in and start swimming. But what he didn't tell me was that the starter gun only fired blanks. So I was a whole lot more worried about where the bullet was going to land than I was about getting myself to the other end of the pool. Even after Dad explained the whole starter pistol concept to me, I was still the worst swimmer on the team. But I did end up winning Most Improved at the awards banquet at the end of the summer. That's only because there was a 10-minute difference between my first race and my last one. So I guess Dad's still waiting for me to live up to my potential. In a lot of ways, being on the swim team was worse than being in middle school. First of all, we had to be at the pool by 7:30 every morning, and the water was always freezing cold. And second of all, we were crammed into 2 lanes, so I always had someone on my tail trying to get around me. The reason we had to use 2 lanes was because the swim practice was at the same time as the water jazz club. I actually tried to convince Dad to let me do water jazz instead of swim team, but he wouldn't go for it. Come on, ladies, get those arms up. And it's a picture of old ladies doing water jazz. That was the first summer the coach let us boys wear swim trunks instead of those skimpy racing trunks. But Mom said Roderick's hand-me-downs bathing suit was perfectly fine. Your friends will be so jealous because you'll be so fast. That's his mom. And then it shows 2 boys pointing and laughing at Greg Heffley. After swim practice, Roderick would pick me up in his band's van. Mom had this crazy idea that if me and Roderick spent quality time on the ride home every day, we wouldn't fight as much. But all it did was make things a lot worse. Roderick was always a half hour late picking me up, and he wouldn't let me sit up front. He said the chlorine would ruin his seat, even though the van is something like 15 years old. Get in the back. And it's Roderick pointing to the back of the loaded diaper van. Roderick's van doesn't actually have any seats in the back, so I had to squeeze in with all the band equipment. And every time the van came to a stop, I had to pray I didn't get my head taken off by one of Roderick's drums. I ended up walking home every day instead of getting a ride from Roderick. I figured it was better to just walk the 2 miles than to get brain damage from riding in the back of that van. Halfway through the summer, I decided I was pretty much done with the swim team, so I came up with a trick to get out of practice. I'd swim a few laps, then I'd ask the coach if I could use the bathroom. Then I'd just hide out in the locker room until practice was over. The only problem with my plan was that it was something like 40 degrees in the boys' bathroom, so it was even colder in there than it was in the pool. I had to wrap myself up in toilet paper so I didn't get hypothermia. That's how I spent a pretty big chunk of my summer vacation, and that's why I'm actually looking forward to going back to school tomorrow. Tuesday, September 12th. When I got to school today, everybody was acting all strange around me, and at first I didn't know what was up. That's people running away from Gregory Heffley. Then I remembered I still had the cheese touch from last year. I got the cheese touch and Ripley, do a dance for the camera. Did you play Fortnite, Ripley? Play Fortnite? Oh, good puppy. Hi. Sorry, I'll put the book down. Ripley. Hi, puppy. Yeah, jump up. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on, Ripley. You're so stupid looking. Hi, puppy. Hi. How you doing, puppy? Good puppy. Anyways, back to the story. Then I remembered I still had the cheese touch from last year. I got the cheese touch in the last week of school, and over the summer I completely forgot about it. The problem with the cheese touch is that you've got it until you can pass it on to somebody else. But nobody would even get within 30 feet of me, so I knew I was going to be stuck with the cheese touch for the whole year. Luckily, there was a new kid named Jeremy Pindle in homeroom, so that took care of that problem. Welcome to our school, Jeremy, and he slaps him on the back, giving Jeremy Pindle the cheese touch. My first class was pre-algebra, and the teacher put me right next to Alex Aruda, the smartest kid in the whole class. Alex is super easy to copy off of because he always finishes his test early and puts his paper down on the floor next to him. So if I ever get in a pinch, it's nice to know I can count on Alex to bail me out. Kids whose last names start with the first few letters of the alphabet get called on the most by the teacher, and that's why they end up being the smartest. Some people think that's not true, but if you want to come to my school, I could prove it. I can only think of one kid who broke that last name Earl, and that's Peter Utger. Peter was the smartest kid in the class all the way up until the 5th grade. That's when a bunch of us started giving him a hard time about how his initials sound when you say them out loud. Teacher, the answer to that question is P-U, P-U. Yeah, P-U, P-U. These days, Peter doesn't raise his hand at all, and he's pretty much a C student. I guess I feel a little bad about the whole PU thing and what happened to Peter, but it's hard not to take credit whenever it comes up. Anyway, today I got pretty decent seats in my classes, except 7th period history. My teacher is Mr. Huff, and something tells me he had Roderick as a student a few years back. Mr. Heffley, you'll be sitting in this chair next to my desk. And that's the end of the book. Let me know if you want to like and subscribe for my dog. Hi, Ripley. He is still alive, despite looking like he might be dead. I think.